Yes, and that's all settled, exclaimed Caderousse, who, by a last effort of intellect, had followed the reading of the letter, and instinctively comprehended all the misery which such a denunciation must entail. Yes, and that is settled, only it will be an infamous shame. And he stretched out his hand to reach the letter. Yes, said Danglars, taking it from beyond his reach. And as what I say and do is merely in jest, and I, amongst the first and foremost, should be sorry if anything happened to Dante, the worthy Dante, look here. And taking the letter, he squeezed it up in his hands and threw it into the corner of the arbor. All right, said Caderousse. Dante is my friend, and I won't have him ill-used. And who thinks of using him ill? Certainly neither I nor Fernand, said Danglars, rising and looking at the young man, who still remained seated, but whose eye was fixed on the denunciatory sheet of the paper flung into the corner. In this case, replied Caderousse, let's have some more wine. I wish to drink to the health of Edmond and the lovely Mercedes. You have had too much already, drunkard, said Danglars, and if you continue, you will be compelled to sleep here because you are unable to stand on your legs. Okay, so, what is our read on Caderousse? I'm so perplexed by him. It seems like he's genuinely sticking up for Dante now, to the point where Danglars has to be like, oh, yeah, hey, we're just, all of us are just kidding over here. Don't worry about that. Just, we were all just doing some jokes and japes, weren't we, folks? Yes, we were. Caderousse, just keep drinking. You're fine. You're going to be drunk. I'll take you home. But wink, wink over at Fernand. Hey, you know what? I might not have actually been kidding. I don't know. Why does he have to conceal it from Caderousse? This is curious. Maybe, and we haven't found this out yet, Caderousse is one of those, loose lips sink ships sort of guys. Clearly he has no filter while drunk. During the day, if there's a little bit of financial gain for him to have, would he sell out Danglars? That's a curious thought. I don't know. Maybe I've just been misreading him this entire time, which makes for my vocalization, characterization, interpretation to be precarious at best. When we listen back to the audio-only recordings of these chapters, I have deep anxiety that they will not be consistent or make much sense once we know all these characters better. I'm not a voice actor, and I've not read this book before. I would imagine people who do the audiobook recordings of these kind of know where they're going so that they can, better characterize them from the get-go. Not so here. That's a unique slant you get here on this podcast. I'm just cold reading all this stuff, baby. Oh, boy. Speaking of which, starting tomorrow, you can catch all of Chapter 4 in the story-only audio, which I am putting out over at our Patreon, patreon.com/gruntworkpod. So if you don't want to listen to my commentary, you can just listen to the chapters straight through. And that will be available tomorrow when we conclude Chapter 4, so I will see you then. Okay, bye! The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.